Every NBA draft features the raw athlete label, the prospect with insane explosiveness, a 40-inch vertical, and jaw-dropping athleticism, but who still can't hit a jumper consistently or rely on his shooting to keep him on the floor.
He pokes it away. Here comes Amen Thompson, 1-on-4. There you go.
History proves a hard truth about the raw athlete archetype. For every explosive prospect who turns into a star, 10 more wash out before they ever figure out how to play. So when Amen Thompson entered the NBA, that was the label attached to him: lightning fast, electrifying, a human highlight reel, but a long-term project who was supposedly years away from making consistent winning impact. But here we are in year 3, and that narrative has officially expired. What Amen Thompson is doing right now is a statement. Over the past few weeks, he has quietly evolved into one of the most impactful young players in the entire NBA. Against Phoenix, he erupted for 28 points, 8 assists, and 7 rebounds on 62% shooting, all while taking on the toughest defensive assignments every trip down the floor. That's the difference with Amen. He's not teasing potential. He's not flashing. He's producing right now. He's shredding defenses, locking up all-stars, and creating chaos on both ends of the court. The project phase is over. The finished product is arriving ahead of schedule, and the league better start paying attention. When the 2025-26 NBA season tipped off, the Houston Rockets stumbled out of the gate with 2 straight losses. But instead of folding, they punched back, ripping off a 12-4 run, one of the best early season records in the league. And a major driving force behind that surge has been the leap of third-year guard Amen Thompson. Sure, Alperen Sengun and Kevin Durant are the established engines of this Rockets team, but Amen has been just as impactful. His influence simply evolved more dramatically as the season progressed. In October, Amen's production showed promise, but also clear areas for growth. Through 4 games, he averaged 14, 5 points, 5, 3 rebounds, 5, 3 assists, and a steal, but the efficiency lagged. He shot 8% from the field, 70% from the line, and missed all 10 of his 3-point attempts, landing at a 51% true shooting mark. Then November arrived, and it looked like an entirely new version of Amen Thompson stepped onto the court. Across November 12th games, he's averaging 18, 4 points, 7, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 6 steals per game. And the efficiency spike is impossible to ignore: 48% from the field, 84, 1% at the line, and 38% from 3. Good for a much stronger 54. 9% true shooting percentage. The production is up. The efficiency is up. The consistency is up. And the impact? Undeniable. This has been the story of Amen Thompson's 3rd NBA season. Clear, significant, unmistakable growth. At 6 feet 7 inches with elite athleticism, he remains a disruptive force defensively. But the evolution of his offensive game is just as important. He's on track to raise his scoring average for the 2nd straight year, and he's rapidly becoming one of the most exciting two-way players in the league.
Into Şengün. Over the top! My God, that's the finish! Oh, Amen Thompson!
As a rookie, Amen Thompson averaged 5 points per game. In year 2, he jumped to 14, 1. And now, through 16 games of the 2025-26 season, he's up to 17, 4 points per night. The progression is steady, undeniable, and backed by real skill development. One of the biggest leaps has come at the free throw line, where he's climbed from 68% last season to 79% this year, an important sign that his shooting fundamentals are becoming more stable. His 2% mark from 3 still limits certain parts of his offensive impact, but the free throw improvement suggests that continued growth is absolutely realistic. And despite the outside shooting flaws, Thompson owns the highest net rating differential on the entire Rockets roster. When he's on the floor, Houston outscores opponents by more than 10 points per 100 possessions. That's what happens when your third-year wing is doing everything. Thompson regularly takes the toughest defensive assignment. He defends wings, switches onto guards, battles for rebounds, pushes the break, and initiates offense. That versatility has made him indispensable, and it's turned him from a raw athlete into a genuine two-way cornerstone of Houston's growing contender. But the real measure of Amen's impact shows up in the nights where he completely takes over. The first big example came in early November against the Mavericks, when he posted a then season-high 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists on 61% shooting, powering Houston to a 110-102 win. He followed it up immediately with an even more dominant performance against the Grizzlies, 28 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 50% shooting from the field, and 33% from deep. He was the best player on the floor, period. Later in the month, his all-around brilliance surfaced once again against the Cavaliers. In that matchup, he delivered 12 points, 9 boards, 6 assists, and 5 steals, a defensive masterclass, and another reminder of how much value he brings even on nights when he isn't scoring 25+. Amen Thompson's rise from promising prospect to foundational piece is one of the biggest drivers behind Houston's resurgence. His improving offense, relentless motor, defensive range, and willingness to embrace the hard jobs have turned him into one of the most important young players in the NBA today.
Good shooter. Crossover. What a play and the dunk. Working over the...
His most impressive performance of the season came recently against the Phoenix Suns, a game Houston entered without Kevin Durant, who missed the matchup due to personal reasons. With their superstar unavailable, the Rockets needed someone to step up and absorb the responsibility usually placed on Durant's shoulders. Amen Thompson did exactly that. He delivered 28 points, 8 assists, and 7 rebounds in 37 minutes, while shooting a perfect 1-4, 1 from 3, and a spotless 7-for-7 at the free throw line. It was the kind of night that demonstrated not only his confidence, but his understanding of what the team required from him at the moment. Against Phoenix, Thompson controlled the perimeter defensively, disrupting the Suns' primary creators and putting constant pressure on the ball. Offensively, he became one of Houston's main engines, consistently generating advantages with his unique blend of raw speed, upper body strength, and rare deceleration ability. Few young players in the NBA can shift gears the way he does, and even fewer defenders are equipped to withstand those constant changes of pace. It was a performance that reflected how significantly his growth has translated into winning basketball, and how essential he has become to the identity of this Rockets team. What makes this recent stretch even more impressive is the seamless way Thompson has expanded his offensive role without disrupting Houston's rhythm. One of the most valuable aspects of his game is the pressure he applies going downhill. When he attacks the rim, he collapses entire defenses. Although his finishing has experienced ups and downs at times, he has rediscovered his efficiency around the basket over the past several games. He's also gone back to taking more decisive pull-up mid-range jumpers, currently a more reliable weapon for him than the three-pointer. When Amen is scoring at all 3 levels, even if the 3rd level is still a work in progress, the entire Rockets offense opens up. His attacks on the rim create kickouts for shooters like Alperen Sengun, Jabari Smith Jr., and Reed Shepherd. Without Durant, Houston needed a player capable of taking on more creation duties, and Thompson embraced that challenge with a composure that mirrors a far more seasoned player. Games like the one against Phoenix illustrate how dramatically he elevates Houston's floor. When Thompson plays assertively, the Rockets gain another threat who can break down defenses, finish through contact, and generate quality looks without relying on a detailed set play. That kind of versatility can shift the momentum of an entire game, and it's a major reason why the coaching staff trust him with extended minutes in clutch situations. That trust is rooted in the baseline value Thompson brings every single night, something very few players in the league can replicate. Through his first 2 NBA seasons, the league quickly learned what kind of athlete he was. He emerged as one of the most explosive leapers and most disruptive defenders in the game. A player capable of producing highlight-level blocks, steals, and transition finishes on a nightly basis. Last season, he took a major step forward defensively, earning legitimate Defensive Player of the Year consideration and securing a place on the All-Defensive team. Yet even with those accolades, many of the concerns that followed him from the draft continued to linger. His shooting remained inconsistent, and at times his mechanics completely fell apart. His long-term projections still looked promising. An elite cutter, a dynamic rim runner, and a versatile defender with superstar-level defensive instincts. But the offensive question marks raised doubts about whether he could ever become a complete player. This season, however, has rewritten that narrative entirely. Thompson's 3rd year represents a shift toward becoming one of the most well-rounded players in the NBA. He has taken enormous strides as a playmaker, growing more patient in the half-court while maintaining his explosiveness in transition. He's evolving into a dynamic slasher who can place pressure on the rim in short bursts or prolonged drives. And instead of being defined by what he can't do, he is now consistently shaping games through everything he can do: defend, facilitate, rebound, attack, and increasingly score. That's why the praise he received from former teammate Dylan Brooks after his monster showing against Phoenix resonated so strongly. Brooks summed up Thompson's development by saying, "His growth has been tremendous. He was a great player for the years I was there, and now he's a two-way player. He knows how to score in the paint, and he guards the best player every night." Coming from one of the league's most physical and respected defenders, that endorsement carries weight. Thompson's combination of size, burst, balance, and defensive range alters the geometry of every game he's part of. Rockets fans understand that Amen isn't just an athletic finisher. He's a multidimensional weapon capable of making life miserable for opposing offenses and generating advantages on the other end. And as Houston entered this season with championship aspirations, they knew they needed players who could operate effectively when defenses focused heavily on Sengun and Durant. Opponents are bound to load up on those two stars, and when that happens, secondary scorers must punish the gaps. Thompson's elite cutting, timing, and finishing have made him the perfect pressure release for Houston's system. But this year introduced a new element to his game: his jumper outside of the paint. He's shooting 47.6% from the field on increased volume, a positive indicator. But the real story lies in his improving three-point shooting throughout November. It's still unrefined, but the mechanics are smoothing out and the upward trend is clear. When combined with his downhill force, it makes him a much more complex matchup. Performances like the one he delivered against Phoenix show what happens when all of these pieces align. Suddenly, he's not just a slasher. He becomes a full-fledged offensive threat capable of manipulating defensive coverage. His ability to change speeds, absorb contact, and contort his body midair creates finishing angles few defenders can disrupt. In transition, he produces sequences reminiscent of Giannis Antetokounmpo, moments where defenders instantly realize they're in trouble and begin backpedaling frantically, hoping to avoid becoming part of a poster. At that point, they have only two choices: challenge him early at the point of attack, or risk giving up a straight-line drive they cannot stop. Neither option feels safe. On the defensive end, Thompson continues to be a major presence. While he hasn't quite reached the relentless form he displayed last season, he remains the player the Rockets rely on to take the hardest defensive matchups. He protects the rim with his length and timing, guards multiple positions, and fuels transition offense with his disruptive instincts. He's averaging 1.4 steals and 0.4 blocks per game, and his 7-foot wingspan shows up in every contest. He contests shots at the rim and on the perimeter with ease, blowing up actions most wings can't even get to. His defensive versatility anchors Houston during crucial stretches and provides a foundation the rest of the team can lean on. When you combine his defensive impact with the expanding layers of his offensive game, you begin to see just how valuable he is to Houston's long-term outlook. He has already proven he can provide elite defense on demand. But as his unconventional yet increasingly effective scoring profile continues to grow, he's inching closer to becoming a player you simply cannot game plan against. And the Rockets are reaping the benefits in real time. That's the reality for Amen Thompson. He is no longer a wait-and-see prospect. He has arrived. And Houston is no longer building for the distant future. They're winning right now, with Thompson playing a central role in their emergence. Considering he's only in his third season, every additional rep, every high-leverage moment, and every expanded responsibility only makes him more dangerous. In a league dominated by three-point shooting and perimeter spacing, Thompson breaks the mold of what a modern NBA star is supposed to look like. And yet, he remains one of the most impactful players in the league. Success on the scoreboard, proving what the scouting reports once underestimated. Back in 2023, he was labeled a long-term project, a fair assumption at the time for a player who bypassed both college and pro leagues overseas to play in overtime elite, a league viewed as below traditional development paths. But in less than 3 full seasons, Amen Thompson has turned that narrative on its head. He has become a legitimate two-way force, one of the most exciting young players in the NBA, and a foundational piece of Houston's future. If he continues at this pace, the conversation will soon shift away from his potential and turn toward an even bigger question. Is he on track to become one of the best, if not the best, two-way players in the entire league? So what do you think Amen Thompson's ceiling really is? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're feeling this kind of breakdown, hit that like button and check out the next video.